Frozen veggies can last years without a freezer, and dehydrating them is one of the easiest ways to do it. Unlike canned goods, there's no risk of freezing once they're dehydrated. They're super low maintenance, and when you need a quick meal in a pinch, they make cooking effortless. I'm going to show you exactly how to turn your frozen veggies into long-lasting, ready-to-use ingredients. Here we go. So we're doing a super simple dehydrating project today. I have 2 bags of petite green peas, 1 bag of sweet corn, 1 bag of diced green bell pepper, and I also grabbed 1 bag of chopped onions. If you watched the mirepoix video, we did our own onions, but I was already in the store and I knew that I didn't really want to do a whole lot of other things just for this trial run. So I went ahead and grabbed a bag of onions. Now, I like the petite green peas because I think they're a little bit more tender, and I thought that going through the dehydrating process, these might turn out a little better. A lot of the reasons why I wanted to hydrate these particular things is for soup, chili, things that are going to be in liquid, and to make it really easy, because what that does is it cuts down on this chopping prep time, and it's going to be in liquid anyway, so it can just get completely rehydrated through that process. What I really went for is the green peas and the corn. And then I thought, let's do onions, let's do green pepper, because I like to use this for chili and a few other things. Even you could put this in things like sloppy joes or something like that. And I thought that'd be a good thing to have around and try. I've done this with red pepper before and I love it, so I think I'm gonna like this. I actually forgot that my dehydrator has 6 trays, which is why I only have 5 bags. But it's all right, we're gonna make it work. There's really not much to it. It is so dang simple. It's really a matter of pouring these vegetables out on these trays and trying to keep them from rolling off. I think the peas are going to be the hardest. I'm actually going to dehydrate these in my kitchen, because if I go up and down the stairs with these will completely roll all over the place. Now this is actually kind of nice because I'm going to spread out the 2 bags of peas on 3 trays so they don't get too close together. Biggest advantage of using frozen vegetables to dehydrate is that these vegetables have already been blanched. And if you were with me for that mirepoix video, I went ahead and blanched mine, but these are already done. So if you wanted to have that blanching step, but maybe didn't have the time or something like that, this is perfect. There's a lot more peas than I thought. And honestly, I just went with this generic brand. When I went to the store for this, I just wanted to get something that I could do this trial run with. I've never done frozen vegetables. I've done lots and lots of fresh, but never frozen. So I wanted to give it a try, and I didn't want to go too crazy. I literally just got the most cost-effective thing I could find. And I don't know if you have heard this, but they say that a lot of times frozen vegetables can even have more nutritional value still in them than frozen, than fresh, because they are blanched and packaged very, very quickly after being harvested. So I hope this is not too overcrowded. They are quite close. One of the other great things about dehydrating vegetables that I cannot overstate is just simply the fact that they are so easy to store. It doesn't require freezing, like, you know, before dehydrating these will have to take up freezer space. It requires electricity. If my electricity went out, it's just one other thing that I would have to worry about, making sure it doesn't go bad. You don't have to can it. When you have canned vegetables, those can freeze if it gets too cold. Again, in the winter, if the power goes out, we have had the power go out in our house. The most it ever went out was 5 days, but that was right at the threshold where I needed to start moving stuff out of the freezer after about 3. So we had to move a ton of stuff over to somebody else who had power, but this is just great. It is so low maintenance. All right, hopefully these can all go on 1 tray and won't be too much. If you do overfill a dehydrating tray, once they start to lose some of their size, you can go back in and spread them out some more. Okay, everything is loaded. It actually worked out really well to have the 3 bags of peas because they distributed pretty well. I think that would be a lot harder to do those double stacked. At least, I don't know. That's kind of what I thought. Got onions, the bell peppers, the corn, and then of course the 3 trays of peas. And you'll notice that I also use these silicone mats. If you have a dehydrator and all you have are these wide trays, these are invaluable for everything. You can put so much more on them. It makes the dehydrator so much more versatile, but it doesn't come with it. It comes with like one sort of hard plastic screen, but these are where it's at. I will link my dehydrator and these trays in the description if you want to look at this particular model. I know they have different sizes for the Cosori dehydrators. They have larger, they even have a smaller one than this, but this has just been a fantastic machine. I really wanted something that was largely stainless, and I know I'm using these trays, but there's a lot of stuff that I just put directly on here, and I want to have that as an option as opposed to being forced to use plastic. And I've talked about this before, but this door panel, this glass just popped out one day. And there's no way that I was gonna try to get a new machine when I could just tape it. Honestly, this keeps everything in and it's worked just fine. And so we're just gonna keep writing that out as long as we can. That'd be my only criticism of this machine. I'm not sure why it happened, but it did. Okay, so temperature, we're gonna go to 125 degrees, just like the Mirepoix. And again, the time, it's still at 19 hours from when we did that project. Because this is in my kitchen, I'm gonna be checking on this. It's morning. I'm gonna check it probably within the next 10 hours before nighttime, and we'll see where it's at. Hopefully it's done, but if it's not, we'll let it go till tomorrow. We have done vegetables. These were done this morning right away. So let's go ahead and pull these out. They all sort of dehydrated at about the same rate, even though some kind of looked like they were done before others. I almost think that the corn may have been the fastest to dehydrate. There's the bell peppers, the onions, and some of these are just paper thin. And then of course, the 3 trays of peas. And one of the great things that I talk about with dehydrating food is that the size reduces so much that it takes up such little space, and it is lightweight, which makes it great for so many things. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these out. I finalized the jar size I was going to use, I went ahead and found lids, and now I'm just vacuum sealing them for storage so they're airtight and they stay stored for longer. You don't have to do this step, but if you're serious about getting a good inventory of things and have them be the most versatile and last the longest, this is definitely the way to go. I will link this in the description box as well. I went ahead and did, it's like a 3/4 size pint for the corn, 1/4 pint for the peppers, 1/2 pint for the onions, and then a pint for the peas. I could have done something more standard, but I had these different jar sizes and they were really easy to get to, so I went ahead and did that. Just trying to make sure that the food fits the jar the best, but honestly, it's not something that's that crazy. It's not super important because we're gonna use these sooner than later. But in particular, if you're looking for like a longer term storage solution, making sure that you have the food match the jar size the best as possible is the way to go. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of these all sealed up. These are the kinds of things that could easily get tossed in an easy to make soup. So we put the Mirepoix in there, whether you rehydrate it and saute it or just throw it right in. And then some of these other things with maybe some protein source, maybe like a rice or a gluten-free noodle or something like that, and then some homemade broth. That's a fantastic soup. And we're good to go here. We're done with this project.